We called it our 1913 Handyman Special. There was no foundation, nothing.
The basement always felt a little musty.
When it was falling down, we called Stonehenge.
We called Stonehenge because we had a water problem in the driveway.
I have an absolute dread and a fear of basement leaks.
I always describe this project like it started with a raccoon, a dead one.
So Paul just recommended that we obviously address the foundation and waterproof.
And we had this horrible smell in the basement. We didn't know what it was. We thought it was our drains, right?
And then we got working on it, and it was worse than I could have even possibly imagined. There was mold, there were things falling apart that I didn't even know was falling apart because it was all behind the scenes.
We live on a tough piece of property with a lot of sloping, and so we want to make sure that we get the foundation done properly, and we know that it'll be safe around our young child. The previous homeowner had simply just made a dam with concrete, and so it was nice to get that cleaned out and have a proper garage and a trench drain now that works really well. It evacuates a ton of water.
And today I've got amazing space, great design that I think has really helped open up the living space. It just works more effectively for me, from the laundry room to the bathroom to all the living space that I have now that I didn't have before.
One thing led to another, and we had to rip up our deck to get at the dead raccoon, which had buried itself in this storm window we didn't know was under the deck. Of course, then we discovered that we had no support under this whole addition on the back of the house. So there was like a little 2x4, which we couldn't see because of the deck.
Stonehenge stepped up to the plate. We were really impressed with the timeline for the works and the cleanliness and the professionalism of the company. The waterproofing went without a hitch, and then everything was backfilled in a timely manner, and then Stonehenge were able to continue with the landscaping as a whole. It was really good.
It was terrifying to see everything come down, and then there was this giant hole that Stonehenge Foundations dug it all out. They were so helpful at reassuring us and making also planned changes. That was the big thing. There was one point when a major change happened in that I hadn't originally planned on taking down the back wall of the house. But once we started to construct the new build, we could see that by taking down that wall, it just made it all come together in the house and put more light in.
So, as with a lot of renovations, I suppose, we overextended ourselves and we had limits on what we could do at that time. And there wasn't any indication at that time of any real water problems. So all the waterproofing and everything happened on the inside, and we didn't excavate the outside. And we were told that was going to be fine. We had flooding every spring, actually during the winter a couple of times, and the main drain in the driveway was always flooding, always backing up. So we had you guys come in and look at drainage. That was the main thing. And the driveway that we had was old tarmac, and we wanted that replacing. So we thought we'd do that all at the same time. In the process of doing that, discovered that one of the main footings at the front of the house here wasn't, it was collapsing because it was never really done properly. So the excavation revealed a number of challenges like that so that they were able to be fixed, which was terrific because we didn't really realize the implication of some of the little cracking and things.
It was simply a footing that was not to code or doing anything that needed to be done to actually support it, and then watching them do the process of shoring up the structure of the second floor and how far they dug down, how big of a hole or a footing they poured, the rebar, then the new post. It was really quite amazing to see a job done properly, and it just put into contrast how poor of a job that was there existing.
Even the stairs itself. I mean, Lee designed those, so they've got this nice little curve at the bottom that just adds a little different touch. And I've got a nice little, almost pocket window opening that adds some extra light to the space to just keep it brighter during the day.
So everything is really, really nice. We love the doors. We love the style. We actually have a foot higher of door than we did before. We've actually had our neighbors who stare at our house tell us how much they like this addition better.
But the best thing of all, he has such great ideas for things that you'd never imagine. We put skylight in, and it's just fun to play. I am so happy with this skylight, and it's remote control. I wouldn't have thought of putting in a remote control one, and just bang, you just touch it, and that skylight opens up, and all the hot air goes out of the house. The space has changed the whole way I live in the house now. I've moved all my books from one area down to another. I have a whole underneath area that I never had before. We did things like turn the stairs so that we could get more space within the living area on the upper floor. And again, that was one of Paul's great ideas.
There's certainly relief. I mean, the jobs that we're doing are not sexy jobs. I mean, I've got a $20,000 garage, and it's not fun to pull somebody into my garage and be like, look at my $20,000 garage. That's not exciting, but it's certainly something that makes me feel very good about doing that with a young family and knowing that we can grow with this house and not have to worry about these things.
And see this? You've got to get this. This is raccoon proof.
From my point of view, it's money very, very well spent.
In this 100-year-old house, I will never have another bed of water, I'm sure.
I know that Gunders was looking at all of the steel supports and things and brickwork to stop that collapsing, and drip edges along all the lintels, which we'd never had before. All those things I didn't really know, and they're like little things, but they all add up to make a big difference.
I mean, to be honest, one of the best things about working with Gunders was just the personal relationship. He didn't have to take the time to leave a little corner of our garage where our family was able to put handprints and dog prints, and even just doing that little step was just fantastic. You don't have to do that, and it was so nice to have him do that.
I love my laundry room. I actually almost like doing laundry now.